everywhere. But I look at it from a perspective that look at e-commerce, look at ed tech, look at technology based logistics, look at automation, look at cloud computing. These are certain sectors which are going to take a boost and which will also continue to grow in the times to come. Even in the times to come, if we switch to a work from home scenario, these are some of the things which are going to stay. Even in one of my other webinars also, I said that look at how SARS impacted the consumer economy in China. So when SARS happened, again it was the same situation. People were under lockdown, people had to work from home, they could not walk out, and it was a huge hue and cry regarding how the sentiments are going to be. But given into that, Alibaba, which was a very small nascent company, took up that as an opportunity and grew to to a huge scale. And now we see that it is one of the leading companies which have even invested in the companies back at home in India. So I would say that this is, let us look at it from a lens of opportunity and not from a lens of, that how is it going to be, or a lens of dissatisfaction. Mr. Santhosh, I guess you're on mute. I can't hear
Yes,
you.
thank you. I just unmuted. So thank you so much for this information. That was really insightful to our students. Now, in this situation, now if they have to crack some interviews, what do you think are the relevant skill sets, or or how they have to prepare themselves to prepare and to crack the interviews in the situation, especially after COVID-19?
Okay, I'll tell you an example from my own, journey, if I may. So when I graduated from my engineering, it was year 2008. I worked in an automobile sector because I'm a mechanical engineer, and the project on which I was working, those companies filed for bankruptcy in US. Once they have filed for an insolvency, then there is no project in India, right? And so we were like, being a graduate trainee, it was extremely uncertain for us whether the job is going to be there or whether we'll be going to be laid off and all. And eventually things went downhill. Okay.
Right.
What I did at that point of time was, I was an engineering student. I thought that let me take up this opportunity. Let me keep my boat afloat. I will not ask, because once you start earning, you have this habit of being very self-reliant and not dependent on your parents or your
Right.
siblings or anybody. So what I thought is that, fair enough, let me work a hard way. I worked with a small company. They had a small admin HR kind of a job which had, but they gave me enough money so that I can keep my boat afloat. I was working in Madhya Pradesh, Indore, and then I moved my base to Calcutta because that company was in Calcutta. I had never been to Calcutta before. It was a completely a new thing, and startups were known, and it was a small real estate reality based startup. So I worked there for a year and a half. It gave me enough ammunition to keep my gun roaring. In the meantime, I prepared for my MBA, and then I did my MBA in that time. So whatever that recessionary time was, I utilized to the best of what I had. Now, having said that, probably not every student will have that kind of a situation.
Right.
What I would encourage student is that this is a good time to sharpen your skill. I'm sure a lot of you must have seen these war movies or the gladiator movies. So when a gladiator doesn't fight, what does he or she do? Or when an athlete doesn't run, or an Olympic is not happening, what do? They practice. They practice what they know. They try and learn something which they do not know, so that once the day is good, once the game is on, they are there at the full swing, winning the medals. This is what I would request all of you. Try and look at diverse experience. Try and look at doing certification courses in the new age tech. Try and learn about AI. Try and learn about machine learning. uh, these are some of the skills which are going to be there. Try and learn how logistics works, how a supply chain in an organization works. Try to do live projects in this time. Be as productive as you can. It might sound a lot preachy, but trust to me, this is going to help you in the times to come. Because as a recruiter, I'm sure this must be one of the questions, because as a recruiter, what I look for a person, right, when I hire them,
Yeah.
I look for somebody who has a learning agility. And I keep on saying this to anybody and every forum that I go to, that it is imperative to have a learning agility. Never ever stop learning. You can hear it from anybody and everybody. Any leader, any speaker would tell you the same thing. So keep on learning, keep on sharpening your sword. Make sure that whatever this time is, because even as a recruiter, the recruiter will understand the situation, right? And they will also ask you, okay, fine, I understand you did not get a job for a year or 6 months or 8 months or whatever time period. So what did you learn? And you can't tell them that I was binging on Netflix, or I was binging on
Right.
Hotstar and Amazon Prime. You really need to come up with skills.
Yes, that's right. Really good. Actually, that's what this is really helpful to our students, because listening to a recruiter, listening to a person from a HR professional, that's really helpful for our students a lot. So that's really wonderful. So what would be the better profile? Or we have students from finance, marketing, HR, and healthcare. So what would
Mhm.
be the better job profiles for MBA students to start? Especially, a majority of the specialization is from marketing. Most of people have taken marketing as one of the specialization. So what would be your a better job profile to start with? How can one be a better manager?
Okay. See, in my experience, I feel that the best profile to work is something which keeps you on ground. Maybe a profile in operations or sales is something which the student should at least have a stint in there. If you get a profile at the beginning of your career, nothing like it, because that is when you start to understand the ground realities. See, FMCG is a sector which will grow, given into the impetus which is being given onto the health condition, sorry, the hygiene situation, that it's a completely different shift from how we have been maintaining our hygiene, like sanitizing everything, washing everything, cleaning your hands, maintaining that safety and the hygiene standards even in your day to day life, not only just when you're going to have food, or not only when you're stepping out. So looking at this scenario, FMCG is going to be there, because FMCG are suppliers to sanitizer or a hand wash or a washing powder or a detergent home wash. Now all these commodities come through different FMCG channels. If you get an opportunity to work in their rural sales function, or something in their distribution line, or let's say in their territory sales, would be something which probably will go a long way in your career. Because again, I'm not biased, but I feel that it not only teaches you the business from a ground level, it also teaches you conflict management. It teaches you how to negotiate with vendor. It shows your leadership skill. It tests your patience. It tests your resilience. And as a leader, these are some of the qualities which are extremely important even in the times to come.
Wow, that's really fantastic. So when we used to handle tasks, again, I remember in the previous webinar, you also used to mention about the sales. So,
Yeah,
MBA students, especially when they start from sales, they will be able to understand the business model better. It's because they interact
yeah,
with customers. So that's really
yeah,
wonderful. I hope now they are listening to you. I hope they'll be very, very clear about how they have to start the profile. So
yeah.
next, talking from the student's perspective, from MBA students' perspective, now, especially after COVID-19, when they face interview, so what would the interviewers look at, especially, reputed, esteemed organizations like Puma? So what would a HR look at? What would a recruiter expect from the candidates? Or what area they have to upskill themselves in?
Okay. Again, as I said before, also, we are looking for students who would show that innovation, even in this time of crisis. What is it that they have done different, which the others haven't? Did they do a live project? There's a website called Dare to Compete, I believe. I'm sure these
Yeah.
kids must be aware about it. I'm not much. There are certain, I think, IM portal or something, because back in my days, it used to be a website called pagalguy.com, which had all these MBA things, but I'm sure things would have evolved. And there are portals which will have a lot of online projects going on, because a couple of companies posted there. Reach out to people on LinkedIn. This is a time to grow your network and not to spam people. Okay, just go with a genuine request. Tell them that this is my area of interest, and this is what I want to do. Can you help me? Can you support me? Out of at least 50 people that you'd reach out, I'm assuming that maybe 10 people or 5 people will probably respond. Take that project up, do the project in this time, whether it's with a stipend or without a stipend. Go ahead, take that chance, take it risk. At least there'll be two things which will come out of it. One is you yourself will know where you are, right? You'll know from a technical perspective also that whatever you've studied, are you really able to apply it? If you feel no, I haven't, go back to your textbooks, learn, read, take this time to again hone your technical skills. Secondly, also the recruiter will have a visibility to the kind of project that you have done. So you will also get to understand what a real life scenario is in a company. Maybe they will give you a project on supply chain. Maybe they'll give you a project on, let's say, employee motivation, because these are times when people are working remote. So you don't know how to keep your employees engaged and motivated. Maybe this can be a time when you can look at something from a digital marketing perspective. Because now a lot of companies will be focusing on digital marketing. So reach out to the marketing heads, reach out to the supply chain heads. It's not, that you should limit yourself to only, let's say, okay, I'm only going to reach out to the HR recruiter. Why? Reach out to the business heads, ask them for a project, tell them that this is my area of interest. I'm sure there'll be, some or the other projects or some kind of assignment which will come your way. Work on it, hone yourself, so that post all this thing, once the economy revives, when the companies get back to their usual work, you will have something concrete to talk to them.
Fantastic. Actually, my next question was about the project. So you have almost covered 50% of it right now. So, most of the students, when they have to take up their projects, they will have one confusion. So, especially now you have, given a lot of information about many important trending topics in marketing, like digital marketing or supply chain management and many things like that. So in human resource management, what are the trending topics so that our students can take it as a dissertation project?
See, I think 2, 3 things which is on top of my mind is, how do you keep your employees motivated? How do you make sure that they are connected and they are engaged while they are working distantly? What are the kinds of policies or the kinds of benefits which we should now relook at once, this is a work from home? Because all of us must have read about the TCS decision of doing remote working. Yeah, and a lot of other companies will follow the suit where the infrastructure is conducive. Probably you can do a comparative study and say that, okay, this company is doing so much of benefit thing, this company probably has an infrastructure also to support it. Why not they can share it with the HR team members, probably of different companies, and you never know, luck can shine anytime on anyone.
Wow, nice. That's really good. So these were some of the questions I had on behalf of the students. Now, if any of the students have any sort of questions, you can drop a message on the chat box, or you can unmute yourself and you can ask Madam.
Hello, ma'am. This is Siddhi.
Hi, Siddhi.
Ma'am, actually, you told about LinkedIn. Like you have
Yeah,
to send request in. Can you
yeah.
just brief us on how to do it? Like, how do we reach people? Do we have to, text them personally, or just sending them request would go good?
See, when you send a request to anybody on LinkedIn, you can also send in a message to them. That is when you curate the message that this is what you're looking for, or this is your area of interest. See, LinkedIn is not like a Facebook, right? They're not your
Yes.
friends, or they are friends of
Mm.
friends. They are people who are professionals. So when you're reaching out to a professional, you don't reach out like a Facebook request. You tell them why you're reaching out. You tell them what you exactly are looking for when you're reaching out to them.
So can we just, format a message stating that we are this is our core of interest and we need some project guidelines or something?
You can do that, of course.
Okay. Thank you.
Great.
Next, I saw a hand raised. Yeah, I think somebody had a question.
Sure.
Yes, I guess somebody had a question. Who was that?
Ma'am,
Yeah.
hi, Mona here.
Hello, Mona.
Ma'am, what is the guarantee? What is the guarantee? Like they will trust us and they will provide us with a project. I mean, not guarantee, but why would they trust us?
See, again, as I said, you'll reach out to probably 50 and 5 will answer. That's how a sales cold calling also happens. So once you work in a business development or in a sales or a marketing, wherever, whichever field you are, not all your vendors are going to give you the money right away, right? You will have to convince, you will have to generate a trust. Similarly, in this case, you will have to reach out to people. You will have to tell them what exactly is your area of interest. Is it that something you've done in that area of interest already, and hence you're reaching them out to build further on your knowledge. See, there is one thing like a blanket. Okay, I have done nothing, my area of interest is HR, and I have gone and applied to 20 HRs, and I say I want a project. My probability of getting a response may be bleak, maybe 1%, 2% response. But if I go with some kind of an analytics, some kind of a study which I have done before, and I reach out to, let's say, the HR for Nestle, and I tell them that, hey ma'am, I have already I am a student of institute of the IMS institute, pursuing a course in HR, and I did an analytics on the current trend in COVID, and these are some of my top 10 findings in the FMCG sector. I would want to build more upon it. Can you please help me with a project? Do you really think somebody who comes with so much of preparation will go empty handed?
Okay. That's a wonderful answer, actually. Yeah. Now you were talking about the course, ma'am. You said that this is the right time to do a lot of courses to various platforms. Now,
Yeah.
which are those courses you would like to advise to the students on? Which areas they can do courses? Which are the trendy
Uh,
areas that would fetch them a good job?
See, whatever happens for a trend will be very cyclic. Okay, so at this point of time, what looks like as automation is good. Cloud computing is something that they can look at. Artificial intelligence, maybe ed tech, machine learning. These are some of the courses which are going to be there, which are going to stay. Even I think the World Economic Forum also said that artificial intelligence is going to be the flavor till 2030 or 2035, whatever.
Right.
So probably that is one area where everybody should understand that how is AI going to impact an HR function, how is AI going to impact a marketing function. So not only just do a study of the course, but also its implication or its impact on various functions. I think that is going to be a good study to do.
That's great. Thank you so much. So next, students, any other doubts? Do you have any other questions to ma'am? If you have any questions, if you're unable to unmute yourself, and if you're unable to ask through videos, you can also text me. Okay. Ma'am, I see a question here. This is from Divyanjali from final year MBA. So her question is, in this crisis, we may hardly get opportunities, but when we are into particular specialization and we get an opportunity to join a company in some other domain, should we really accept that opportunity, or will it affect our future employment career? Because few HRs may ask in future, when you are specialization was other, why did you start your career in some other domain? That means they have dual specialization, or if a person has taken finance, and if they want to take up if they have got an offer from HR, so if they ask your specialization is something and your job is something else, so later if when they are switching the company, so if they ask about change in the specialization, so would that happen the career?
Uh, See, you're asking a mechanical engineer who's doing an HR professional job. So I think, what I have felt, because I have also been subjected to these questions, that when you are an engineer, why do you want to do this and why do you want to do that? There is something which engineering has taught me, and because of that learning, there's a value add which I'm able to do in the HR field. Now, how do I make the recruiter understand this is what the art about the art is here. So while and see, this is a situation, if you're graduating at this point of time, any recruiter will understand. You can always tell them upfront that, listen, this is the time when I graduated, this is the job which I had in hand, and there was no alternate option. I had to keep my boat afloat, and I took up this job, and I did extremely well. And then I'm assuming that whichever job you kids will go to, you will do well, and you will have some good testimonials from your managers or from your peers. You talk about that. And see, nobody wants to let go a performer. Let me tell you that. Okay, if you're a high potential, high performer person who has a good record in the organization, why would anybody want you to go? And why won't any other recruiter want you to hire? The recruiters will definitely want you to hire because of the skill set that you bring. While you were, let's say you are an HR person and you did sales, maybe tomorrow you become a sales HR because you understand the nuances of sales. Or you might go into, let's say, operations. because you now understand what the consumer wants. So the entire supply chain has to be made in such a way so that it reaches to the last mile with best efficient, with the most efficient cost and time. See, it's how you put it across. Okay, there's no magic formula that I'll be able to give you, but this is out of my experience that I can tell you.
Great. Actually, even I had to witness the same situation after I graduated from electronics and communication engineering and took my MBA. So the same thing, same situation. Yeah, that was a fantastic answer. We have another question from Mr. Chandan. So he says,
Hmm.
as of now, in this crisis, America has a rule about people with H-1B visa, they haven't paid for about 60 days. So they should return to their respective countries. As India, people will be working in, many people will be working, and once they return, so will they be struggling with a job, or even for a fresher, how will that affect?
See, honestly, I am not the prime minister who can comment on how the US is going to be and will they do any kind of a financial packages to those people who will be laid off. But the job market or even your education market has always been competitive. While you must have been writing your IITs, or I'm not sure what all exams, but at least I wrote the exam for IIT and I wrote for other engineering entrances, and the ratio would be like the seat would be one and there would be 10,000 or 5,000 candidates for it. While you go for MBA, it also the pool becomes a very diverse pool. So there is going to be competition at every stage and age of your life. Even at workplace, you compete to get the best rating, you compete to get a promotion, right? It is going to be there always. What do you focus on? Do I look at my team members who are doing so much, or do I look at what work I am doing? It has to be very, very internal. You cannot look at the, oh, because there was a visa cancellation and hence people came and hence my job did not go. You can keep on doing this self pity and keep on doing this speculation. I would urge all of you to take this point positively and look for the trends, look for the courses, look for the learnings that you can take up at this time. And thankfully, a lot of these online platforms are offering subjects and certifications at a very, very nominal cost, or most of them are for free.
Right.
Do that. This is a really, really good time to learn.
Perfect. So we have another question. This is from Bindu, Miss Bindu. So she asks,
Hmm.
in this pandemic situation, later they have got projects, so which they're supposed to do in a company, more like an internship. So now when the company do not offer internship, so how are they supposed to handle that out? How are they supposed to search for internships?
There are websites. Go on and find. There's Internshala, I believe. You go on and see if there's an internship live on it. Go on online portals. They'll help.
Perfect. So there is one more question from Ms. Divyanjali. So what can we answer when the HR say, so your passion doesn't really matter. So you take up a job because it is in your hand. So we should really think like, is it money that is important, or is it a job profile? Because she has faced this situation many times in her interview. Uh, because she has got an offer now. If the HR asks, what is really important to you? Is it money or a job profile? So how should somebody answer that question?
See, it is a very contextual question. Okay, it is context to the current situation at hand. If you are willing to follow your passion with keeping the money aside, please go ahead and do it. Okay, there are kids who will probably be looking more for jobs given into their financial backgrounds or their family situations. For them, probably it's a matter of survival. Might and they might go and follow their passionate jobs after at some later point of time, and then come back and do follow whatever they have to. But at this need of hour, they'll probably go for the job that offers money. Even while I had my time when I was going through a recessionary phase, I took up a job for money. My passion, I did probably, I was an engineer. If things would have been good, I would have continued to be an engineer, maybe would have done my MTech or MS or whatever, and I would have been maybe a supply chain person or maybe an operations head rather than being an HR person. But that point of time, in that context, what seemed to be my priority, I took that up. You can always have these conversations with the HR. See, HRs are not demons, right? They are also human. They will understand.
Right. So that's really good. So we just have about last 5 minutes left. So if anybody has a question, please do, unmute yourself and you can ask that question, ma'am. So anybody, any questions? Yeah. Now looks like most of the doubts are already answered. They wanted to learn about projects, they got the information, and they wanted to learn about job markets, they have got that information. So they wanted to learn how to boost their profile, so they got that answer as well. So it's like most of them are clear with it. Yeah.
Hello, sir.
So yes, yes, Satish.
Uh, Sir, I have a question that how to choose a specialization, because I feel like I can do anything, marketing or HR or finance, I can do all. But how to choose a specialization is my question.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. So he has a special. I mean, he has a doubt. So on what basis they have to choose
Okay.
their specialization?
Okay. So Satish, have you taken up any kind of a project, any internship? Have you
No,
done
ma'am.
course?
I'm
Why don't you
actually
try
first year.
doing? Okay, so why don't you try doing one of every field, one of operations, one of HR, one of finance, and one of whatever, marketing or sales, and see which one do you excel in more. I think that's going to give you a clarity.
Okay, ma'am.
Ma'am,
Thank you, ma'am.
there is one more question from Ms. Mona Pragati. So she wants to ask, so what if we don't get any extra techniques like any experience of job or handling any projects? Then how will we be able to convince them on LinkedIn? I mean, the HRs on LinkedIn to get them projects or internships.
As in, you don't get anybody. I'm sorry, I'm not able to understand the
Uh,
question.
so if they don't have any job experience or if they haven't handled any projects before, so
Hmm.
now they are students and they haven't handled any sort of projects before. Now they want to approach
Hmm.
the HRs for internship. So how are they going to convince them without having
So
any of
don't
these
you?
experiences?
Okay, so don't you think it would be better that you first do project and then approach them, so that you have something to approach?
Right. Yeah, actually, that is why in third semester they have got some mini project. So in the fourth semester,
Hmm.
they're supposed to do it in a company. So where they're supposed to
Hmm.
approach HRs. So in third
Hmm.
semester, to give an experience of that, they have a mini project for which they don't have to look for a company. So if that answers the question as well.
They can see, you can always look online. Again, I'm telling you, this is a time when you can do online projects. Look for, there'll be a lot of startups who will be giving up out maybe projects on digital marketing, on content making. Do
Right.
some community building, partner with an NGO and do something for them. That's a good approach to look at. Maybe look at an academic institute which has got certain community service, that they do community service. Do an online teaching. Log in into some websites. You can record audiobooks for blinds. You can help draft them a proposal, make a proposal, do some kind of a fundraising for them. These are some things which you can do while sitting at home, even at this point of time.
That's great. Ma'am, actually, now I have a last question. Even in the previous webinar, this question was asked. So I am actually repeating the same question. So now if somebody wants to do their internship in Puma, now
Hmm.
when would that be and how do they approach? Uh,
The internship for Puma for this year, we've already taken our interns. Next year, probably somewhere around March or April is what we'll be looking at uh, to
so
take
will it
setup.
be announced in the website, ma'am?
See, we don't announce it per se, but in case if there is the academic partnership, let's say if we've been in touch and we understand, like you're connected with me, and then there are a lot of placement officers who keep on reaching out in between. So the ones where we usually go for hiring, they know that it is by February or March. We
Right.
send a formal communication to all these academic partners and tell them that our internship is open. So please let us know, this is the guidelines of the internship, and please let us know whosoever is interested in it.
Okay, that's great. So we are getting many questions. So we'll just take one last question and we'll stop. This is from Surinder Naik. So his
Hmm.
question is, as a HR, what would be your management style? I mean, how would what is your view in job elimination, or
Job
how?
elimination.
Yeah, I mean, maybe while interview is going on, what parameters you will look for selection or elimination? Maybe that is his point of view.
Okay, first I look at the energy and the enthusiasm that the person brings in. If somebody is extremely despondent when they come for an interview, it's a straight no for me. Second, I look for the technical skills. What kind of studies that they have done? Are they able to justify their own education? Uh, Thirdly, I look for diversity in experience. Apart from academics, what else have they done? Have they done sports? Have they played sports? Have they done a community engagement? Have they learned something different? Are they into music? Are they into arts? I would want us to. So my thought when I hire a candidate is the person should have a holistic learning. Okay, while you play sports, you learn leadership, you learn team spirit. While you're into creative side of it, while you're doing arts, you have a lot of innovation. You're creative. You try and bring forth new things. Uh, if you're competing, let's say we used to have a lot of internal competition, external competition, b plan or a case study competition. I would want student to have engaged into it, because that shows how good a person can build their network, what are their skills of collaboration. A student who brings in with all these kind of value added things to their profile, why won't a recruiter hire them, or why won't I hire the person?
That's fantastic. Probably now, this is a word of all the HRs. So I'm sure the students will be very, very clear about how they have to prepare themselves for interviews right now. So I think this is the end for the questions. So I'd like to thank you so much for being online and giving your word of wisdom to our students, ma'am. On behalf of the college, on behalf of the management, I would like to thank you for the bottom of the hand. So thank you so much for being online and helping our students in understanding concepts. So if they have any questions further, probably they will reach out to me and I will drop you an email, and anytime when you're free, please do enlighten us.
Sure, sure. If there are further questions, you can please let me know. I'll answer them to the best of my knowledge. And I know this wasn't a very conducive time, like figuratively and
Exactly.
literally, to get students at 6:30 in the evening. I have
Right.
probably deprived you of your evening tea and coffee. Uh, but again, my before we sign off and before you all sign off, my only parting thoughts would be that utilize this time as productively as you can. Don't get into a bandwagon of nervousness. Don't succumb to a peer pressure of, oh, he is doing something or she's doing something, I'm not able to do something. You figure out what are you good at and focus on that. Don't go haywire everywhere. Everybody understands this current situation. We all understand what a student is going through. Once the time revives, go with a renewed confidence, go with a lot of substantial work that you have done during this time, and tell people how you have utilized this time. Leverage this as an opportunity, and don't look at it as a stop or a roadblock in your career, please.
That's really wonderful, ma'am. Thank you so much once again. I think even we are done with the time also. So this was a perfect session.
Great.
So I hope the students are very, very benefited from this session. So thank you so much once again. And I hope we will be connected, and we will see if there is any internship requirement, and sure we will be able to send some potential candidates to you as well.
Sure. All right. Thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you so much, ma'am.